and welcome back to the 50 Shades of Blonde show. I'm Missy Day.
And Jill Branson.
And would you like to introduce your other half?
I would so love to. I have right here, and so does Missy. This is my husband. I know people thought he was a phantom husband, but he's real. See, he's right here. And his name is Ron Branson. And I'm so excited he's on the show because he's going to share with you a lot of information and things that have to do with real estate and realtors.
Very good.
I got it right.
Realtors.
No,
No, not realtors.
realtors
There's
is for
no A
reality.
Realtors. No. So
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I've been watching the show off and on, and I'll pay you later for getting me on the show, and I appreciate it.
Wait a minute. You've been watching the show off and on?
yeah,
Well, yeah, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. So it's off and on.
So Ron shared with me before the show that he's very nervous, so we're going to treat him very gently
he's not.
so that he's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
If
that.
anything, he'd like to take the stage.
I'm very sensitive.
I
Yeah.
know, very.
All right.
So tell me something. So tell me what goes on in the mind of a man that has had a hugely successful real estate career and decides to become a coach.
Well, one of the biggest reasons is after being in the business for 30 plus years, there's within the first 2 years of a real estate person becoming licensed, 80% of them are out of the business. And that can vary somewhat, and after 3 years, as many as 90% are out of the business. And it just kind of bothered me a lot to see all those people spend all that time and money and effort and energy and get into real estate and not really know what they're getting into and fail because they didn't have any guidance. Now, brokers are expected to help them through part of it, but a lot of the brokerages now are very, very large and they don't have the time to spend one-on-one and help them get them going. So my whole purpose of doing some coaching is to help them, more of them survive, help them become better agents, because that in the long run that helps the consumer, which is their clients, the buyers or sellers. And the market is changing so drastically that it used to be that once you had your license you could go out and you already knew more than 90% of the people you were dealing with. That's not true anymore. A lot of consumers are very knowledgeable about what's happening in the market through the internet and being able to do their own research. So I have a passion to help people succeed in their endeavors of real estate, and there's a lot more to it than people realize than just getting a license and going out. I remember my first transaction. This is a true story. I was showing houses to a friend. We looked all over the town and we came back to, they wanted to buy a new home, and one of my associates in the office I was with, it was her listing of all these homes in this new subdivision. So I said to her, I said, Betty, these are all your listings, right? And she goes, yep. And I said, good, these people want to buy. Here's a blank form. Would you write it up for me? That was a true story because I had no idea even how to fill out a purchase agreement. And I think there's a lot of agents out there that are kind of in that situation. So when you take the classes, and it's 90 hours of classroom instruction, it's expensive to join the Association of Realtors. And by the way, not all real estate licensees are realtors, but all realtors are licensees. It's like not all accountants are CPAs. So if you're a realtor, you belong to a code. You have to subscribe to a code of ethics, and there's grievance committees, and there's training and ongoing training. So it's important to me that we maintain a degree of professionalism in our business. And it like I said, it's changing drastically, and the agents need to stay up and keep up on and everything. And my goal is to help more of them survive and become successful, because there isn't a business that I know of legally that I can have as much freedom and make as much money and still help people achieve their dream.
Right.
Let me ask you this. When they first get out of, and they've gotten their license, isn't it true that like all the different companies, they start coming at them and offering how do you guide somebody through
Yeah,
that?
and that's one of the first things on my next workshop I'm going to talk about is how to help them decide which real estate company to go to. Not all companies are a perfect fit for everybody.
Right.
And so even when they're going through their pre-licensing, their classes that they're taking, all these other companies are coming in there promising them the sky or whatever if they'll come to work for them. And so they need to be able to ask right questions about the contract, the splits, do they supply leads, do they supply office, do they supply business cards, what about their E&O insurance? So there's all kinds of questions that need to be asked by the new licensee before they choose a company, because you don't want to start out with one company and in a year or so into the business realized you made a wrong decision.
Right.
You need to move, because every time you move, it'll set you back 3 to 6 months. It really, I've seen it happen time after time in my 30 plus years in the business.
Plus, I think it just looks weird, you know, just like any of us that are business owners. If you hop from one thing to the next to the next, pretty soon you lose your credibility, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. You're right. And so I really have always enjoyed, when I was younger going to college, I was going to go into education, and I love helping people. I love working with people and do some goal setting, and it helps me. It helps keep me focused and keeps me on track, and it keeps me fresh, because somebody else always has a question or something I hadn't even thought about, or brings up something that I'd forgotten about.
Right.
You know, so it keeps me fresh, keeps me, I'd say young, but we've passed that. So.
But you have so much
Excuse me.
experience.
It's never too late to be young.
That's right. It's never too
It's a
late.
state of mind, right?
That's right.
But I've lost mine.
Well, what are the biggest challenges, would you say, that they're facing as a new?
Well, there's so many. Where do I start? There's so many challenges. Like they have to form a team, not team of other agents with them, but they need to learn a lender or lenders that they can work with. They need to work with a title company and escrow officers. They need to have people that they can get to work on doing maintenance on a home, because if it's an existing home, generally when they have the inspection done on a home, there's things that need to be corrected in that. And if they don't have a relationship with a plumber, electrician, or a handyman that can fix them, it can delay a closing a long time. I think some of the biggest challenges, or one of the biggest challenges, is when people get into real estate, they maybe sell 2, 3, 4 houses pretty fast to their friends and family and relatives, and so they're working on those, and they're going along, and everything's great, and all of a sudden those deals are closed, hopefully, and they look back and there's nothing coming in the pipeline.
Right.
And so it can take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to have something come, so their income goes up, it goes down, goes up, and goes down. So when I did my coaching and working with agents before, when I had my real estate company, is I tried to get them to keep a steady, and so they didn't have these huge highs and lows. And that's through having a business plan. That's the other thing these people don't realize. As new agents, they're in business. They're the CEO of their own company, and they can dictate how much they want to make, but they have to have a business plan, or as you call it, goal setting. They have to have specific written goals. Otherwise, they're not going to reach that. It's kind of like the analogy of a ship leaving a harbor with no clue of where they're going, and they're going to end up wherever the wind blows them.
Right.
And those are old cliches, obviously, but that's true. They need a business plan. They need to have a thought process of what they want to do, when they want to get there. They need to have ongoing, continuing education. They need to realize how important the national, state, and local association of realtors is to them, to help them protect our industry and private property rights. So there's a lot of issues that are out there that they're not aware of.
Right.
That's why they need your assistance, so that you can guide them and get them on the right track, instead of where they're just like, they get into an office and they sit there and wait for people to come, and in the meantime, when they get somebody, then they start asking everybody and anybody that's there to help them, because there's so much to learn in the beginning.
Oh, it's ongoing. You're always learning. Always learning. I learn something every day in the business, and whether it's helping somebody else or doing some research for another client.
So if you're out there and you're new to real estate and you have a clue, that's not really what I wanted to say, but anyways,
You sort of have a clue.
and you're looking for more direction and how you can be more successful in your realtor business, check out Ron. Give them your information.
Yeah, you can go to rjbsuccesscoach.com. My next workshop will be June 30th.
13.
Excuse me, thank you, June 13th.
See, that's why I'm here.
Thank you, dear. Between 1:30 and 3 o'clock at Old Republic Title Company on Sahara. That's posted on my website there, rjbsuccesscoach.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Good to have you.
It's been great.
Thanks.
I'm so happy. I only waited almost a year for this.
I'm glad I didn't have to dye my hair.
No.
No. Well, thank you for tuning in and stay tuned for our next segment.